In this lesson, we will learn how to remove unwanted transform groups. So as we saw in the previous lesson, we had a few transform groups appear simply because of the fact that they help to compensate the scale of the new joints we added to match the scale of the skeleton we were connecting those joints to. So you can see our global control is set to half its size, 0.5, but when we build joints, initially their scale is set to 1. So, hence, we arrive at transform groups. So to remove them, it's just a matter of tweaking our character's scale. So let's go ahead and get started. What we'll first want to do is detach the eyes from their skin cluster. That way we can rescale our character and freeze transforms without any warnings or any errors. When we bind the eyes, of course, their attributes are locked down, so only the joints affect their deformations and transformations, so we don't run into double transformations. Alright, so what I'll go ahead and do is unreference the character, grab her eyes, the eye mesh that is, and let's go ahead and detach. So under skin, we'll choose detach skin. Rebinding is not going to be a problem at all. We saw how easy that process was. Alright, so at this point we can now take our global scale and set that to a value of 1. And we'll do the same thing for our character, only we'll need to double her size. So, under the model node, you'll find hero. You can see the scale is set to 1. So to match our control rig size, of course we'll need to double this value. So we'll simply scale by 2. Alright, now we can safely go in, take this node, and freeze its transformations. Great. Alright, so of course we can now rebind the eyes, but we'll take care of that at the end. Let's go ahead and remove those unwanted transform groups. Alright, so now that the scale has been taken care of, it's just a matter of grabbing these transform groups. Let's go ahead and see what's stored within. So here we'll find our upper and lower lids. So again, we just grab the transform groups, head over to Edit, and choose Ungroup. Now no longer are those joints connected to nodes we don't need. You can see we have to do the same thing for the eye bones. So again, with the transform group selected, let's go ahead and choose Ungroup. Great. So everything's still working just fine. You can see that the eye scale has been set to a value of 2. Okay, no problem at all. We could always set the eye bone scale back to 1, just grabbing both eyes, setting that to 1 to correct that. And now, feel free to take your end joints, of course, and move them forward if you would like. It's not really necessary here. But if you would like to do that, you could see that they are still connected to the IK handle. So let's go ahead and just remove the IK handles. Grab our 2 end joints. Remember, they have been mirrored, so we'll need to make sure our move tool is set to world in order to move them forward at the same time. If you need to, feel free to move over to your side view. So I'll go ahead and frame those 2 eye bones and template the character. Okay, that actually looks really nice. So at this point, moving back over to our perspective view, we can now go ahead and reapply our IK handles. So let's find our eye bone. There it is. We could always expand this chain. So we can grab the end joint. We'll choose skeleton, IK handle tool, and reconnect. And now, of course, it's just a matter of renaming this to RPLI01, point constraining it, and then parenting it back to our head bone. Let's go ahead and take care of the right eye. So we'll go ahead and grab our IK handle tool. I'll minimize the outliner. Go ahead and apply the IK. Go ahead and rename this handle to RP RI01. Let's add our point constraint. And parent the handle to the head bone. Okay, great. All right, well, at this point, we can now go ahead and mirror our eyelids. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our top bone. We'll need to do this one by one. We'll choose our mirror joint tool options. We'll need to make sure our plane is set back to YZ and choose apply. Great. Let's do the same thing for the lower lid. Looks good. All right, so to finish up, let's go ahead and rebind our eyes. So again, that takes hardly any time. We just select our eye mesh, grab our eye bones, careful not to grab the eyelid bones, and we'll go ahead and choose smooth bind. And now at this point, we'll use the component editor to reassign our weights, any weights that need to be reassigned. So just to be on the safe side, let's go ahead and take care of this, because you can see a few of these weights are not fully set to 1, which can pose a problem of the eyes eventually stretching as they animate. So I'll go ahead and set these to a value of 1. On the left side, grab the components on the right side and do the same. Great. All right, well, now that that's taken care of, we can always test this out by grabbing our eye control and rotating that around. Wonderful. All right, so we've learned how to remove unwanted transform nodes. That is a problem at times, so we know how to correct that issue. All right, so what do we have left to do? Well, we now need to set up our eyes, our eyelids that is, to follow along with the control objects or the control attributes tied to our head control. So let's go ahead and take care of that in the following lesson.